Fine chilly music, it just wouldn't be the same, would they?
No, it wouldn't. So how do you make the noise of a spaceship or even a time machine?
You know what I'd do? I'd send for that N. Rytel guy with his Dalek voice.
But if you couldn't get him, you'd go to the guys who produced the original Dalek voice and the Doctor Who theme. They're the Radiophonic Workshop. They use everything but the kitchen sink to bring us sounds we've never heard before. And here's how they do it. On December the 22nd, 1958, something happened that changed our world forever. In a BBC TV programme called Quatermass and the Pit, electronic sound was born. Nothing like this had ever been heard before. The idea was that aliens were attacking Quatermass and his team with noise. Sound was being used as a weapon. It was terrifying. And it was all created by the BBC Radiophonic Workshop. So, how did they do that?
Well, actually, the professor's brains were being fried with what started as a single drum beat. But that sound was then changed with a reel-to-reel tape recorder. In the 1950s, tape was new and wonderful stuff. For the first time, people could actually handle sound.
Because you could record a sound on this, you could then say, right, well, the sound starts there, the sound ends there. You could pick it up. You could turn it back to front, so you could play a sound backwards. You could cut little bits out of a sound. You could join it up and play sounds round and round again. So they would just repeat and repeat and repeat and repeat and repeat and repeat and repeat.
5 years after Quatermass came the Radiophonic Workshop's smash hit, the music and sound effects for Doctor Who. In 1963, we heard this for the first time. Recognise it? It's the Doctor's TARDIS taking off.
I was sitting in the cinema in the interval. I couldn't afford to buy an ice cream, so I was doodling, and suddenly I had this idea of ripping the fabric of time and space, and I thought, well, what makes a nice rippy sound? And I thought, well, we've got that old piano. I thought, say, pull a key down the strings or something lunatic like that. We might be able to do something, because it sounds as if it's ripping, and it's metallic.
But how does this become this?
We created this thing with lots of scrapes and cut tapes together, and we speeded them up and we slowed them down and threw feedback everywhere. And we added this great swoop from a piece of equipment we had called a wobulator. It's called a wobulator, it made sounds that wobbled.
And the wobulator really came into its own when Brian created the most famous electronic voices in the history of television. Brian gave the Daleks voices that combined charm and terror by using a special wobulator, a ring modulator.
A ring modulator turns something on and off so many times a second, and we use it to turn a voice on and off. Now, if you use it and you turn it on and off, it doesn't sound like anything very much. But if you actually start to take the speed of the oscillator down, and you get it coming towards that of a Dalek, and you change your delivery, and you will obey, or you will be exterminated. Exterminate!
In 1978, the Radiophonic Workshop had a wonderful new toy to play with, producing more space noises for Blake 7. And they made these noises by using synthesized sound.
All right, down. Synthesized sounds are totally generated in a box electronically. We only had two synthesizers at the time. One was an enormous synthesizer that literally filled the room, and the other one was a very small one, just lots of little coloured knobs, and you had little pins that you joined up and linked up.
Synthesizers opened up new horizons for the workshop. There was no limit to the variety of sounds they could make and turn into music. And these sounds could be beautiful as well as terrifying. In 1982, Elizabeth Parker created the music for the award-winning series The Living Planet. And she did it with a musical instrument you can all play at home.
I wanted to get a very wet, sort of windy sound over the tropical forests, and I was sort of messing around at home, and I thought, well, let's try blowing over a bottle. So I went through various bottles in the kitchen, and there was one bottle in particular, the tomato ketchup bottle.
But how did that single sound become this beautiful tune? Well, Elizabeth recorded the bottle sound through a microphone into a special computer called a sampler. Once she'd done that, she could change the pitch and length of the sound. She could even play it on a keyboard. The bottle sound had become a musical instrument. It was a revolution in music making. The radiophonic composers don't write music on paper, they can create music from sound itself. And there's a huge audience for their magical melodies.
The Radiophonic Workshop has done an awful lot to open people's ears to new sounds and to get them to accept new sounds.
And a lot of it was done without our knowing.
People actually over the last 40 years simply haven't realised that they've been listening to modern music.
And if you like what you hear, you've been converted by the BBC Radiophonic Workshop, with a little help from its agents from outer space. And it doesn't stop here.
This is only the beginning.
Well, that's the show for tonight. We'll see you next week for these stories. Top special effects at knockdown prices. The secrets behind the incredible red dwarf galaxy.
It's a glide.